Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja 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 Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja
Welcome, everybody. Microphone is a little low. 1 second. We increase the sensitivity of this fucking thing. There we go. All right, so hope everyone is doing well. It's good to see everybody. As you can tell, I am flying solo today. And the reason I'm flying solo is, well, Mystic has had quite a difficult time with his job in getting back in town on time. So essentially what today is pretty much just kind of like a PSA, so to speak. Just gotta here. There we go. Let's put this one time. There we go. That way the music's there. So you've been having Apocrypha withdrawal? I'm sure many people have. I do apologize for the delay. We had a great show the last week that we did it. Unfortunately, it has been difficult to kind of touch base and kind of get into like the right time zones for it. That's right. It is Friday the 13th. That is true. Yeah, so the reason I'm flying solo, this isn't going to be a long show. I figured I kind of owed you guys kind of an explanation. So this isn't necessarily Apocrypha. I used the intro because I just didn't have time to make anything for myself. Hence where is it? Oh, the other way. The logo right there. Right there. That thing. So that's why I have that up there. To kind of differentiate kind of between like what Apocrypha, like it being Apocrypha or myself just kind of doing a live. So essentially this is more kind of like a PSA round just to kind of like, because I always like put in the community section like what's going on. And I kind of feel bad after so many weeks just doing the community section thing. So I figured like I would just go live and shoot the shit with you guys for a little while and let you know that Apocrypha is officially going to be moving to Saturdays around the same time, like the same time as right now, just on Saturdays, because it's just going to be easier for Mystic to be around. So I figured it would probably make I would feel better doing a live PSA than just like shooting a message in the community section. So just to kind of put it out there, because I do want to stay kind of like on point with kind of like part 2 of what we said, right? Hey, what is up, Tree Sap? How's it going? Just doing a live PSA and just shooting shit with you guys for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we were originally on Saturdays, and then I think one of the reasons we changed was because of Mystic's schedule. So we switched to Fridays. And then we kind of kept overlapping with Curtis Joseph, and his live stuff that he was doing. So then we kind of pushed it and made it a little bit later, and so it's just been one of those things, right? So there's a lot of things I actually kind of want to talk to you guys about. So kind of give you kind of heads up on kind of what's going on. So I think that there is kind of like a dual vlog thing that's going to be happening pretty soon, starting next week. So next week I move house. I'm going to a significantly smaller place. So I am downsizing. Like downsizing, I don't think would be like, I think downsizing is an understatement, but it'll be cozy. So next week I'm moving. So there's a big possibility that there might not be a show next week either. Only because I'm moving. And I need to get the internet installed and all that fun stuff. So there's just like a lot going on with that. But starting next week, there's going to be a vlog. It's going to be kind of like a series vlog, not a series vlog. It's going to be every other day. And I think that there is like a very good premise for it. Dyra is also going to be, Black Witch Dyra is also going to be starting a vlog around the same time. And the idea is that those two vlogs that are going to be separate are going to unify into one vlog. So the idea is to kind of document, the process of witch skills, kind of like the work that goes through it. There's a lot of people out there that talk about, witchcraft is like a day to day thing, right? Is like it's a lifestyle, not just like a spiritual belief. And unfortunately, like not a lot of people actually document, that day to day aspect of things. And so, Dyer and I sat down, we had a conversation. We were like, well, what about if we document, you know, the process, the lifestyle aspect of it, right? Give people a little bit of an insight into the day to day stuff that we do that is occult related, that it's not just, a ritual or talking about demons or talking about gods or talking about, so yeah, so essentially on my end of things, I'm going to initially release the vlog, right? Like on the member section, right? So members only. So essentially it'll work like this. So one episode's going to come out. So there's going to be a recording day and then editing and upload. And on editing and upload, it's going to initially be released into the members part of the YouTube channel. And whoever's a member is going to get like a day early access to those videos. And so there's going to be kind of like an offset of kind of releasing the vlog, right? But yeah, so the vlogs will be available on YouTube. And so Dyra's going to document her side of it, and I'm going to document my side of it. And, there's going to be kind of like, crossover and stuff like that. And it's going to be specifically designed to kind of give people kind of a sneak peek into, like that day-to-day aspect of, being an occultist, living as an occultist. And, eventually at some point, as a couple that are both occultists living together, and how that kind of pans out and that practice kind of works and stuff like that, right? The back and forth with that. And just to kind of give people an idea, like an open kind of dialogue to, seeing the occult in a day-to-day way, and also kind of to document the progress of witch skills, like the construction and everything that has that's going on behind there. So like this, like the idea of being an occultist and building an occult business, and everything that kind of exists behind that. It's something that I don't think a lot of people. I fail to find anyone that has actually done this. Most are just like short little videos about what they do before a ritual, what they do after a ritual, maybe what they do during a ritual. Talking about experiences that they've had and things like that, which is all fine and well. It's absolutely wonderful content, but maybe having the idea of actually kind of, showing what it's like being an occultist going to a fucking grocery store, like, or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe finding like little, little extras and stuff like that to add into a ritual, or ritual planning and things like all of these types of things that happen that people don't see, and how to, live magically every day. The things that are done every single day, as occultists, and how it differs, right? Because, there are definitely a lot of similarities between, Dyra and I, but there are significantly more differences, especially in the way that we practice. And there's nothing wrong with that either, but I think it's going to give people kind of a really interesting perspective, on all of that. So that's going to start next week. So I'm going to start you guys out with my move. So that's going to be essentially the first vlog. Is you guys are going to see me throwing shit into a truck and moving. And you guys are going to be there for the entire disaster that is my new place, and everything that I'm going to have to do to get it set up and looking good and kosher and everything like that and functional. So, there's going to be a lot of elements to it, right? There's going to be decorating, there's going to be organization, there's going to be setup, there's going to be a lot of stuff that, might not seem like it's occult related, but, everything is, right? So there's that aspect of it. Also, you know, yeah, let's see. That is really awesome and can also help newcomers by showing them some different examples and to kind of, yeah, exactly. Um, so, and we really liked the idea, Dara and I, of kind of like having two separate vlogs that will eventually kind of morph into one, right? There'll still be, daily content or content every other day on both channels. It's just, the major aspect of the vlog will just kind of take onto one thing. So there's that. Also, if you guys aren't aware, Dyra is doing monthly workshops. So you guys should definitely check that out. Seem pretty legit. You should go check out Black Witch Dyra on Instagram and check out the posts that she has for her workshops, because she's doing some workshops and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's definitely kind of like that aspect of it. Apocrypha is definitely gonna be coming back stronger. I think once I'm in the new place, like it's just fresh skin. You know what I mean? It's gonna be fresh air, fresh skin, new place, new location, stuff like that. It might be a kind of like downsizing, like significantly downsizing. But honestly, I don't think that I've taken full advantage of, the space that I have here, as I probably should or could have. I have three completely empty rooms, and I could have easily set up, a ritual room and done some ritual recordings and things like that. And I guess it's just kind of like not my vibe. So I'm going from a 3-floor, 6-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment. And you would think that I would be very sad about that, but I'm actually quite excited. Like, I'm actually quite excited about the change. Because it's also a more central area. There's a lot of things, that are going to be closer. So. I mean, it's just going to be a more central area. Like, I mean, that's kind of like what I'm comfortable with sharing. Yeah, it's kind of like where I'm kind of comfortable throwing that information out there. But I mean, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. October, the end of October, beginning of November, going to have a lot of surprises for you guys. I actually have every intention on November 2nd to do a drop in on some rituals and spiritual practices that are practiced here in Mexico for Dia de los Muertos, some very specific to Santa Muerte. So definitely going to be doing that. Thinking about taking you guys to the Four Corners, Los Cuatro Esquinas, which is here in the city that I live in, which is essentially just 4 different corners with 4 different esoteric shops and a poultry shop. You can do the math on that one. I mean, it's all Santeria, right? So, I mean, you can do the math on that one. I'm not going to say that on here. Be right back. Yeah, go for it. It was Black Magic Dyra on YouTube. So yeah, so definitely a lot of stuff coming up soon. And obviously the end of October, beginning of November, there's going to be a super special guest that's going to be face to face in person with yours truly. Yes, yes. I mean, she is definitely on top of her social media game where I am not. um, I'm very critical of whether or not, um, if what I'm going to say is worth saying. You know, um, So it's kind of like it is one of those things that I tend to not make content if I don't think the content is going to be of a certain quality or a certain level. That's not to say that Dyra's content is of lesser quality. It is of great, high quality content and wonderful, amazing information. Um, I just don't have, that much stuff to talk about. Um, So, I mean, I generally kind of keep repeating the same thing, right? Like, I mean, this whole idea of, the left hand path, what the left hand path is. But I mean, there are some ideas that I've been coming up with of things that I kind of want to talk about, kind of like, what the left hand path has done for me. Yes, I'm completely ripping that off of Dyra. Dyra did that first. How the left hand path changed her life. Great video. You guys should watch it. But I'm totally ripping that off and probably going to make my own version of it. How the left hand path kind of saved me, you know, and hopefully that's something you guys are interested in. I would hope so. But yeah, I mean, there's all that. Witch Skills soft launch has been moved to the end of this month. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure we're probably going to move the soft launch again. Just because of my move and stuff like that. And there's probably going to be a solid 2-week period, 3-week period between October and November that I'm just going to be doing almost nothing. So that is also something there as well, and that's just because I need to get everything set up, right? I don't know how long it's going to take for the internet to get installed. I mean, there's internet at the place that I'm going, but I don't know how good it is. There's, so I need to get my internet moved over there. I don't know how long the company's going to take to move their asses and get it there. So there's just a lot of stuff going on that's kind of like up in the air a little bit. So kind of like the big thing is just like needing to be, I need to work and stuff like that. All fun stuff. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's all fucking wonderful. Right. It's all great stuff. Look, I'm excited about the move. Right. So, I mean, I don't feel bad for myself or anything like that because it's going to a smaller place that's only temporary. Right. Rents have gone up where I'm at, and finding a place that, I think is, a good place to go, that has everything that I'm looking for is just kind of hard. And I would prefer to, downsize for the time being, save a little bit of money, and take the time to actually find something that I'm fully interested in. That fits everything as far as like location and stuff like that, like, where I want to be. So, that's kind of like, that aspect of it. So the background, I mean, there really isn't a background, is there? It's just kind of like black. So the background might not actually change that very much. I was just going to say like the background will be different like next week, but it's probably not going to change that much. Quick question before we go off topic. Need advice. Son was just baptized Mormon. Ouch, I'm sorry. I don't know how to react. Could really use some wisdom. And so here's the thing. Being a spiritual person does not necessarily mean that we need to believe in the significance of all spiritual practices, right? So as someone on the left-hand path, as someone that, I don't want to call myself a demonologist or a demonalter or a Satanist, because I'm not either of those things, though I do work with demons and I do follow Levain's philosophy. I'm not any of those things specifically, but based on the philosophy of left-hand path with interjected spiritualism, I'm a very spiritual person, but I don't believe in the ritualistic practices of every faith that exists in the world. This is to say that I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in the devil, and I don't believe in, the generalized Abrahamic, construct of religion. So what's the point that I'm trying to get to? If somebody wants to dump some water on my kid's head and say that he's a Catholic because they dumped some water in his head, that doesn't make him Catholic. Your son being baptized Mormon doesn't make him Mormon. It just makes a bunch of easily triggered people feel more comfortable around your child. Your child is open to, their own thing when they come around to it. You know what I mean? I was fucking baptized Catholic. Never been debaptized. I think that's just as much bullshit as being baptized itself. I've got the fucking certificate to prove it, right? That I was baptized Catholic. I'm not Catholic, right? What makes you something or not something is your decision to be or not be something. It's that simple, and that's left-hand path, right? I mean, it's your decision. No amount of water sprinkling or attempted drowning from a church is, going to negate your child's ability to make their own choices, right? That's a completely different story there. Like, I mean, the baptism itself isn't the brainwashing, but the whole process, of, the brainwashing in the Mormon church. I mean, that's a whole other ball game, buddy. There's really not much I can say on that. Is just kind of give, every opportunity that you have, give your son as much information as you possibly can without overloading him and making it feel like you're trying to convert him, right? It needs to be someone's decision to be on this path. Like, you can't be forced into it, right? And I mean, that's kind of like the biggest thing that, like, we always talk about. Always comes up in subject, always comes up in discussion. The left-hand path is self-deification, right? So it's not to say that you are literally a god. That would be kind of ridiculous and delusional. But it is to say that, in the sense of being, who you want to be and how you want to be that person is your choice, right? I mean, that's what that is. So could your son potentially become brainwashed by the church? I mean, yeah. I mean, get them while they're young, right? But it's definitely something that kind of, the idea here is keep an open line of communication when questions come up. Don't talk badly about, the faith that your child is being brought up into, because children are young and impressionable. They're not stupid. And so children can definitely pick up on when you're trying to make someone else look bad or something else look bad, so your stuff looks better. So they can definitely pick up on that. So I wouldn't go necessarily with that direction. No. It's fine. I mean, like I said, there really isn't a topic. Like, it's just me hanging out with you guys. It's just me kind of hanging out with you guys. That's what today is. Like, so today isn't like Apocrypha. Today is, Atius Dade hanging out with you fuckers, for a little bit live to let you know that the official Apocrypha show is going to be tomorrow around this same time. Right? So that's the official show. This is just me shooting the shit with you guys, So any questions you guys got right now is like the perfect time to ask, because I'm just talking out my ass right now. I'm just, So, yeah, if you guys have any like, Q&A right now, like, it'd be a fucking perfect time, to kind of hit it up, right? Yeah. So another show tomorrow, and also Satan and Coffee on Sunday. So I'm glad, man. I'm glad. I can't fix anything, but I mean, I can just give you my perspective on it, Um, my son's never been baptized, so I hope to keep it that way. Honestly, I don't really want to baptize him. I don't want to subject him to potential infant drowning. I mean, he's not an infant anymore. He's like 10 years old, but I didn't want to subject him to like potential infant drowning. Because some of these guys go fucking crazy with it. Like I've seen some, like it's supposed to be like a little sprinkle of water on the top of the head, baby. No, some of these fuckers just take it like, all right, let's go, and just kind of fucking, dump the kid in the fucking water. Kid comes up like, what just happened? Um, you know, uh, he's 21. I mean, that sounds like a choice there, man. That doesn't sound like, being brainwashed. That just sounds like a choice. I mean, at that stage, man, I'd just be like, just respect it. You know what I mean? Like if he has any questions, talk to him about it, be open about it, but, I would say just kind of respect it. Respect the decision, respect the choice. Just came out of nowhere, I guess. I mean, it came out of nowhere for you, right? I think the first and best thing that you can do is ask your kid, like, hey, where'd this choice come from? Why did you make it? Try to understand it, before, before passing judgment on it. That's kind of like, how I would look at it. If my kid was older and he did some goofy shit, I would want to sit down with him and talk to him, about the decision and why he made it. And maybe he's got legitimate reasons, Unfortunately, like just because we've enlightened ourselves to a certain degree with so many things in our lives that have happened to us and coming out on the other side of it and making the decision to be on the path that we're on doesn't necessarily mean that other people are going to see that same path as being viable for them. And, even if we disagree with somebody else's path choices, I do believe that, as responsible adults, the best thing we can do is respect those choices. That's the best thing that we can do. And even if we don't like them, which is the hardest thing to do, right? Like that is like definitely, the hardest thing to do is like, when you have a child or a loved one that is making a choice that you disagree with, the hardest aspect of that is understanding that, okay, I love you, you're my child. I will always love you no matter what choices you make. And just leave it at that. Like we always kind of want to kind of jump in and be like, well, what the fuck? Why did you do this? This is stupid. It's a bad organization. It's, whatever, and I agree, like Mormons are fucking batshit. But, if my kid made the choice to be a Mormon, it's a path that he has to walk, not me. He's the one that's going to have to live with that choice and potentially live with the consequences of it. So, Peter White, good morning. I mean, it's almost 7 o'clock at night for me, but sure. Good morning to you, too. Well, I mean, you're gonna want to go from I guess to, you know, you're just gonna want to remove the I guess from there. You have every right to talk to him about it. You know, that's like, like a big thing. Like, you have every right to discuss it with him. Right? You have every right to want to understand it. You know, as this person's father, like, I mean, that will always be your right. But it is also his right to deny you that understanding. And I hope that your relationship with your son isn't like that. I hope you have a decent relationship with your son. And, it's not a situation where if you ask a question, he's going to shoot you down, because I can imagine that being very painful. I mean, I had a phase of time, in the recent past, where I would, send my son a text message telling him that I love him, and he would just tell me, okay, cool. And, I never thought a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old could hurt my feelings that much, but damn, yeah, it kind of fucked me up. So, so yeah, I mean, definitely, take that opportunity and just kind of discuss it with him. I mean, look, here's the thing. I will always, we're all judgmental people, right? Like, we want to sit there and say that we're not judgmental because society has groomed us into believing that, being judgmental is a bad thing. But at the end of the day, we're all judgmental. We all pass judgment on people based on how they dress, how they talk, what kind of job they have. We're constantly passing judgment on people, right? Always. It is inevitability, right? The fact that YouTuber, really, I had no idea. But yeah, we're constantly and always judging people, and that's how we keep ourselves safe. Like, as human beings, passing judgment on people and situations is how we keep ourselves alive, right? Like, if you see somebody and you get like a weird feeling about that person that makes you uncomfortable, makes you feel unsafe, that is your, sixth sense telling you, get the fuck out of Dodge, right? And, I have heard of many people getting into very bad situations because they don't listen to that sixth sense, So the point that I'm getting to here, right, is when it comes to somebody that I don't know, I will always pass judgment. The whole thing with Christian witchcraft, I think that is the stupidest fucking thing in the planet. Like, there are people that, like, thoroughly disagree with me and talk about the ritual work and the spiritual magic that exists in Christianity. And it's like, yeah, I'm not denying that there is, a great level of, fucking occult practice that happens in the church, but that's because they ripped that shit the fuck off of us, centuries ago, right? Like, they killed our ancestors, murdered their children in front of them, raped their women, all in the name of God, and the shit that they thought fit really good, they're like, yeah, we'll take this, and then to have like a bunch of people turn around and say, yeah, I love Jesus and I'm a witch. It's just kind of like, go fuck yourself, man. It's like, really, go roll over in a ditch and fucking die, please. And so it's just, And I'm joking, by the way, right? I don't want anybody to fucking die, but you know, it's just I judge people. I'm a judgmental person. We are all judgmental people. You know, the key factor is whether or not you actually give a shit, right? That's the key factor that we're looking at. Do you actually give a shit, right? Like, will I judge somebody that's a Christian witch? Yeah, most definitely. Do I give a shit that they're a Christian witch? No, I don't fucking care. Has nothing to fucking do with me. Doesn't affect me in the fucking slightest. Why the fuck do I care? Right? You know, you want to set up a fucking altar with a pentagram and a statue of Jesus in the fucking middle? Be my fucking guest. I don't fucking care. You know, am I going to judge you for it and call you a fucking moron? Yeah, I am. I'm going to fucking deal with it. But, you know, it's one of those things. When it comes to family, when it comes to people that we love and we care about, that's where the game changes. That's where the judgment changes. We should definitely try not to judge those that we love and care about and that we have a connection with far beyond that we see, you know, with day-to-day people. You know, especially if they are of our loins. Especially. Look, going back to the whole Christian witch thing, all right? So I've not talked a lot about this, right? Because I know that there's just a lot of people that just generally disagree with me and whatever. So a lot of the occult, a lot of what we know in the occult, unfortunately, is, especially left-hand path, especially demonolatry, is very connected and inherently part of Abrahamic religions, right? You know, the Clithoff, the Goetia, the Ars Goetia, that's Abrahamic. All of these are Abrahamic, you know, systems. One of the reasons that I have never read the Goetia, right, is because of the fact that it is derived Abrahamically through Abrahamic faith, right? It is an undeniable fact that can be proven time and time again that much of what we believe in as people of the left-hand path, as demonolators, as Satanists and what have you, that much of the ideas and concepts that we believe in are derived from Abrahamic systems, which is the primary reason why I've never read the Ars Goetia. Not that I deny that it's real or that I deny that it works. I believe that it does work, but I believe that there is a certain perspective. I believe that the three tiers, the three pillars of Abrahamic faith, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, I believe that those three faiths are more interconnected than most people want to believe that they are. Yeah, even the Clithoff. That is also Abrahamic. So I believe that those are more interconnected than people want to really believe that they actually are. In the most nefarious of ways. And I believe that for as accurate as the information is, I'm not saying it's inaccurate information, for as accurate and as functional as the information is in the Ars Goetia and in other documentation, I believe that these things, for inherently being connected to Abrahamic faith or Abrahamic systems, the Abrahamic construct, are perverted and diluted. So you guys know that I wrote my book on working with Baphomet, which is yet to be released. I just need an editor. I need an editor. If anybody knows a fucking editor, send me an editor. I need an editor before I release this fucking thing. I got too many run-on sentences, right? Like, I'm not releasing like a book that's just like no, right? Like I'm not, you know, I'm not going to release a book that when you're reading it makes you feel like you're training to be a fucking Navy SEAL. And also the, you know, the Oracle deck that's done as well. One of the things that I'm working on as well is a book designed and built around the idea of working with demonic entities without going through the Goetia. Seeing what I connect with, what I come up with. Do I connect with Payman? Do I connect with Belial? Do I connect with these entities, or do I connect with something else that mirrors that entity? But if I were to read the Goetia, if I were to read and delve into these Abrahamic systems, that would dilute, I believe, my perspective on what it is that I'm producing. I'm producing something that is separate from or independent of the documentation that currently exists. I want to create a basis of documentation that isn't connected to Abrahamic faith. Now, whether or not I come up with the exact same fucking thing, or I come up with something that's more hardcore, or I come up with complete fucking bullshit, I don't know. But I need to give myself the opportunity to do that. So, unfortunately, for as much as I absolutely loathe, abhor, and despise the Abrahamic construct that our global society is built around, I cannot deny that many of the practices that we hold true to ourselves have been derived from those same practices. And my hope is to be able to create something truly independent of that for those that feel the same way that I do, that feel that the Abrahamic faiths of the world have spit on occultists for centuries, have put their boots on us and made us lick the bottoms. And so my hope is to create something that is truly independent of that. But that's going to take some time. There's a long ass time before that comes to fruition. Because first it requires the work, then it requires the results, then it requires more work, and it requires repeated results. And then after a consistent back and forth of work and consistent results, then I can rightfully write about it and say that this is accurate and this functions. Oh no, that's 100% what it is, Sad World. Abrahamic religions adopted many of the rituals and practices that they conduct and they do from occultists of the past. But the problem is you don't know where the bullshit stops. That's the problem. We don't know where the bullshit ends. Right? That's the biggest issue. Like, so we can go into these Abrahamic systems, these Abrahamic constructs, and work with these perfectly fine. There's nothing against it. Like, if you want to work these constructs, they do function. But the issue is we don't know where the fucking bullshit ends. Like, where's the truth? Where's the limiting factors? What are we missing? We are inevitably missing something, but what is it that we're missing? And the only way to know what we're missing is for someone to go in without having been polluted by these constructs and figuring it out for themselves. So, yeah, but, you know, the whole concept of, you know, Christian witch and shit like that, like, I think it is a laughable and pathetic cop-out to what occultism is, personally. Yeah, exactly. We do need our own individual gnosis. I mean, and the thing is look, I'm not bashing anybody that uses the Goetia. I'm not bashing anybody that uses the Cliffoth. Like, I mean, you know, If it works for you, it works for you. But, you know, I'm just seeing it from a different angle. That's it. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm just seeing this from a different angle, and something needs to change. There's something needs to break the barrier here. Because, like, we've talked about this several times, you know, the Vatican has openly admitted fucking words, man. The Vatican has openly admitted that they have occult documentation, ancient occult documentation, in their fucking basement, and refuse to release it publicly. So they're hiding something from everybody. And I'm almost 100% certain the reason why they don't want to release it, they say it's because they want to protect people because they think it's dangerous. But at the end of the day, if you look at the Crusades and you look at the whole process of what happened for the Catholic Church to get where the Catholic Church is at, the Catholic Church did what it did because they knew that the only thing that could stop them from being able to fully dominate the spiritual plane on this planet was the fact that there were people that were walking the earth that could do things that their God couldn't explain. So what did they do? They made it of the devil. They made it an offense punishable by death. And they did that for centuries. And they continue to sit there and tell us that they hide this documentation, they hide these grimoires from us for our own protection. I fully believe that these grimoires, if they're ever to be released, would truly, fully prove the immaculate lie that Abrahamic faith has built in society. Not just Catholicism, but Christianity as a whole, Judaism, and Islam. So, do I have anything to back that up? Is there any proof of my claims? Absolutely not. There are zero fucking proof of my claims, except for the fact that, you know, multiple priests have mentioned that there are grimoires locked up in the Vatican basement. Excuse me. So, yeah. There's that. Anyway, how is it possible to be a Christian witch? Christianity did. Yeah, Salem, that I mean, a lot of the Christian witches, what they turn around and say is they talk about a lot of, like, you know, like the magic that exists in the church and, you know, all of this stuff, you know, the connection to magic that it has. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Of course it does. Of course it has a fucking connection to magic. All that shit's stolen. Like, and now you're perpetuating it. Right? They fucking killed and pillaged, like, so many fucking places. Like, the Christians were no fucking better than the goddamn Vikings. Right? Fucking England bitches and complains about fucking the Norsemen coming over and fucking, you know, pillaging the fucking villages and shit. We're people of God. You know, what the fuck did you do to get where you're at? You did the same fucking thing. You fucking turn around and fucking tell me, like, oh, pour out the fuck off. That was karma, motherfucker. Fucking Norsemen found you out. So they gave you a taste of your own fucking medicine. You didn't like it, did you? So, yeah, it's again, I'm one person. This is one person's perspective on it. But, you know, it is an interesting conversation that Dyer and I have had because she tends to kind of view things a bit differently than I do when it comes to that. But you know, that makes it an interesting conversation. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today. Again, just to let you guys know, so you guys got to hang out with me today. Mystic and I will be doing Apocrypha tomorrow, okay, around the same time as right now. And yeah, Satan and Coffee on Sunday. Next weekend, don't count on seeing me doing anything because I'm moving, right? I'm moving starting the 20th. So I will be vlogging the process, but the chances of me being able to go live are minimal. So that's a thing, right? Slim Lewis, yeah. I'm just bouncing out, homie. You know, so thank you all for showing up. You guys are fucking amazing. I love your guys' fucking faces. And as fucking always, hail thy fucking self. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Waiting for my mouse to start working.